So the only way in which we can prevent this is by communicating on a more regular basis and keeping them well informed and involved in everything that is done in the class. Also, I'm sure most of you do it, although many children are there who inform their parents on the last day, 11th hour, that we are supposed to submit such and such project or assignment tomorrow. And at the 11th hour, you're running around for printouts, for charts, making models, and the whole system of the household goes haywire. And you end up, mainly our parents, end up telling the children that I'm not doing this again, this is the last time. But it carries on and on, because being parents, they try to, work for the welfare of their children. I know as teachers, you give them sufficient warning and sufficient time for their projects and assignments. So if you have this written in their school diaries or somewhere written where it's accountable, parents also get to see it and they sign it, that they have seen it, and they acknowledge that they have seen it. So even the student cannot, throw these tantrums on the last day at the 11th hour, and what you gain is you get a lovely project out of it. Of course, many projects nowadays, I think 80% of the projects are done in school, but even for that, getting materials, getting things arranged are to be done by the child. So if this notice is given early, parents can go about it quite early, and you end up having good projects and the child actually working proactively on it instead of a last-minute ditch effort. Okay, when you have concerns, don't wait for something to happen. I feel this boy needs help, but I'll wait till he actually ends up breaking the tube lights or breaking the smart board or causing some destruction. Don't wait for that. Get in touch with the special educators and counselors. Maybe they'll be able to guide you better about how to go about it. And you can, take action before something actually happens and be instrumental in changing the mentality and the behavior of the child also. And of course, the next step to this is working together to prevent problems from escalating further. Problems have happened. Each and every class will have a problem child or two problem children. So you are working together with the parent to see to it that it doesn't grow out of hand, and even the child, grows better and improves as a result. Please take a look at this slide. So what do you do about such parents? You write, you call, you send emails, you do your best to communicate to them, but they still are not interested in the child. What do you do with such parents? Each and every class has. So from the beginning, if you are having a bond or partnership with the parents, maybe, even from their side, the interaction will be more. And of course, parents are the experts on their children. You may be the teacher, you may be spending a lot of time, you may be the one actually teaching, influencing the child's behavior, academics, aptitude, skills, and everything. But parents are the experts because they have that one child they know well about. So, form a bonding and partnership so that you can take their expert opinion about their own child. And when problems actually happen, you can ask them for suggestions and ideas. Because the main, idea is to work together as a team. And one more thing about that interest factor, when you really want the parents to be involved, just don't send a note expecting them to read and sign. Leave space for questions and comments so that they have to come back to you. And, maybe applaud the child or at least comment that this child's parent has a question and discuss with the entire class so that the child goes home and asks his parents also to do the same. So next time you write a personal note or send a communication, you also get back a comment or a question in return, which of course you have to, if it is a question, you have to answer. So this is something you all know, the parent, teacher, and the child has to connect. Now I'll share with you some do's of communication which you may be doing already, but you can still, maybe inculcate in your communication efforts. As we were saying, there's a repetitions and positive messages to parents all the time. Show respect in your body language and words. We say certain parents are very disrespectful, but when you give respect, you get it back. If you show respect with your body language and words, I'm sure you'll get it from your children as well as your parents. This is something which you already know. Contact parents are the first sign of a problem. And frequent communication in any form is fine. Although we will discuss about the ways to communicate, as long as you're communicating with parents, letting them know you're there for them, it's fine. And now we come to some of the don'ts of communication. Already we've discussed something like this: contact people only when there's a problem. Talk down a parent. You know, we as teachers think that we are in total control, some of us at least, and the parents are, in some way, they are slightly inferior to us, where they have to listen to what we say. But it is not that. We should take lessons from our heads also, who shows such good respect to parents when parents come as visitors. So we should never talk down to a parent or make him or her feel, just because your child is in my class, you have to listen to what I have to say. That doesn't work anytime. The parent goes home carrying a very negative feeling about you and about the class and about Udgam in general. Do not wait to contact a parent only when the problem has gotten out of hand. I think I have already repeated this. Don't contact parents when you don't have a plan of action. Simply telling the parent that your child did such and such and wait for the parent to take an action is not what is going to work. You are the teacher, you are the role model, you are the maker basically. You can take the help of the heads, you can take the help of the vice principals, you can take the help of the counselors, special educators, and find a way in which you could solve this problem. Let the parent know, call a meeting and discuss proactively about how, as a partnership, you can solve the problem. Do not blame parents. This is something, we teachers end up doing even if we want to or not. Blame parents for an indisciplined child, a child who doesn't study, and things like that. Child who comes, yes, uniform to some extent, of course, keeping up with the school timings, of course, but rather than blaming, doing something positive proactively would work better. Of course, expect parents to do most of the teaching or the projects doesn't work at all. And I'm sure at Udgam we are not doing this, although there are some schools who expect parents to do the projects, but at least at Udgam we've seen that we are not doing this at all. These are some of the ways to communicate which we can follow in our school. And as I said, doesn't matter which way you're communicating in, what matters most is that you should communicate frequently. These are, we'll be just discussing in details, a welcome letter, phone calls, feedback survey, class blog, emails, school diary, personal notes, and SMS or WhatsApp. Have I missed out anything here, which you already do, teachers, and is not included in this list? Please look up the list and let me know if I've missed out anything. There's something which you could do on a personal basis. Of course, school newsletter, Udgam Matters is always there, but there's something you can do on a personal basis to parents on a frequent basis too. So have I missed out anything? So I'm quite good at my homework. So a welcome letter doesn't harm and has a lot of benefits. A welcome letter is the letter you write to the parents when a new class comes to your class, 7th standard comes to 8th standard. It doesn't matter whether you're a subject teacher or an activity teacher or a class teacher. You could always write a welcome letter to the parents and to the child, welcoming him or her to the class. Nothing can impact the child more and nothing can make him or her more positive than a warm welcome. This establishes the link between the home and the school, but do keep the length of the page limited to a few words, maybe 500 words or so. We don't want, a history lesson in the letters. That can come later on. Make the tone upbeat and enthusiastic, as if you're very enthusiastic and very glad to have the child in your class. Tell them you need their support and that the education of the child is a team effort. This, will bring out even the disinterested parents to come and interact with you. Give information about your plans for the coming year. This is again to do with the feeling that Udgam is growing and my child is lost. So if you discuss your plans in advance, even the parents know what you're going to do throughout the year. Of course, we wouldn't like to be, too frank with them, too candid, but to some extent we can share with them what we plan for this year. We can have some general goals and some specific goals. Next we come to phone calls. Hello, I've got some good news about your child. And not, hello, I've got some complaints about your child. That will follow maybe, but not initially. Okay, this is just a suggestion from my side. Our elementary teachers can call all parents with a success story in the first 2 months of school. Just see to it that each and every parent is called with some success story, Parents of little kids like to hear more about what their child did at school. So this could be implemented. From middle onwards, teachers can call at least 5 parents in a week, so that the goal of calling all parents at least once is fulfilled within a span of 2 months. Be warm and friendly in your approach. That, of course, goes without saying, and of course, you are all doing it. Sometimes it becomes necessary to inform parents about a problem through a phone call. You have to be calm. You cannot show your anxiety about the child's misbehavior. You have to calm, work on an action plan, and then call the parent. Next is a parent feedback survey, which could be sent right at the beginning. During the first week, send a survey covering general questions about the child. See, this is kind of an icebreaker. You don't know the child, neither do they know you. So first, you would like to know the child to know how to interact with him, because as you know, each child is different. And you have to communicate and cater to him accordingly. So through a parent survey feedback form, you can find out more about their child. I'm sure Arzu can help you in this. Use this survey during the parent-teacher meet as an icebreaker. After a month, send another survey to find out how their child is adjusting, and you will get to know how effective your teaching is and how your child is faring, how the child is faring in class, and plus what the parents feel about the class in general. This can help teachers to improve too. Next is, something which I find very interesting and which can be done very easily is having a class blog. Of course, you should be the admin. You should control it so that it doesn't get out of hand. Okay, I can see Krupali nodding her head, so she's the one who's going to, maybe let you know how it's done. Because, of course, all teachers may not know how a blog is created. So I'm here, Krupali is there, IT people are there, all computer teachers are there. We are always here to help you to create a blog. Do it in WordPress or Blogspot. Those are the best ways. Each and every child can have access to the blog so that they can read it. But as I said, keep the admin powers with yourself, or give it to the, a child you can trust and rely on. Encourage them to post at least something once a week. It can be anything. It can be a poem. So it can, actually a class blog is like a mini newsletter, which is specific to your own class. And you can have this every year so that, these are memories for you to share with your class also when they come in. And something good you can share with the entire class. Maybe take out some time in a day to share with your class what is there in the class blog, even though they might go home and have a look. And this is something, of course, you need to share with the parents, that we have a class blog. You can go through this. You can communicate effectively with your students and as frequently as you want to. Class blog can have even notices and reminders, not only flowery and lovely articles. Post pictures of student achievements, big and small. Manan sir keeps complaining that I don't, use the stories which you send or the pictures which you send. So this is the best place where you can actually post student achievements, big and small, so that the parents get to know about it and the child is motivated to write further and read. So the reading and writing skills are also developed through your class blog. Post details of upcoming class and school events. Class events do not get so much of an importance on the grand scale, larger scale. So this is one way in which you can, let them know. And also links to useful educational sites. There are so many useful educational sites, so many slides which you come across, which you would like parents and children to see. This is the perfect place. Teachers, please do start a class blog. It is as good as having a class library. If you cannot have a class library, at least start a class blog. And anything else which you would like to share with the child is okay for the class blog. Next we come to emails. Okay, before this, teachers, how many of you respond to emails on a regular basis? Yes, Radhika ma'am is an inspiration for all of us. And we should follow her in this. We should answer each and every email that comes to us from parents. Even when we don't have time, we should inform them that we'll get back to you. And this is something which we have received complaints about from many parents, that teachers do not reply to our emails, which is actually quite sad. But emails should not be long stories, it should be short and sweet. Check emails regularly and reply immediately. Regularly means on a daily basis, not once a week or once in 2 weeks. And you should reply immediately, even if it's to say that you will get back to them. Make a group email through which the general messages can be sent. So there is something, teachers, which we know as send personally. Again, our IT people, Chetna, can guide you about this. When you make a group email, all the parents get that email, but they just get to see their names in the to list. So this will be a nice way to communicate with parents when there are group messages to be sent, and you don't have to type it out and send it to 40 of them. Share good links. Again, educational, useful, inspirational links can be shared through your short and sweet emails. Next is the school diary. This is a preview, a sneak peek of what the school diary looks like this year. Little more space has been added so that students actually write in the school diary. And you can ask them to write important notices. You can create a corner in your blackboard where you write the important notices, so the child knows that this notice is to be written in my diary. Dates of exams and events have to be included in the school diary again, so that the parents at home also know about what is going on. Homework can be communicated through school diary. Reminders to be given by school diary. Collection drive, when we had the kite drive and things like that, can be communicated through the school diary very effectively. And when you start writing regularly in the school diary, the parents are going to see it on a regular basis too. Okay, these are colorful personal notes. You can make your own. These are positive notes of appraisal. Personal notes are 99% only positive notes. Acknowledging improvement. See, it feels very good to receive personal notes. Even as teachers, when we received personal notes from Manan sir during our birthdays, I'm sure we all felt glad about it. Something nice he had written about all of us, and it felt good to be recognized. So this is something even you can practice. Our vice principals are already practicing. You could also practice on a regular here means once a week maybe. Positive notes of appraisal, acknowledging improvement. Suppose a child who was not too good earlier is doing well, you acknowledge that improvement and it grows from there. Birthdays, this is a great way to wish the child on his or her birthday. Achievements, again, about the child, what he or she has done in class or in school. Problems should be the last thing, but it can be dealt with in the personal notes too. Next is an icon you all are familiar with. What is this icon for? How many of you have WhatsApp in your phones? Come on, even I have it. Right, thank you. How many of you don't have WhatsApp? I know, I got to hear that in the morning, and I'm waiting to give a sermon to Mithika ma'am about this too. WhatsApp, if used judiciously, can be very beneficial. Okay. This is what you may do, not necessary that you should do. This is something you can use. Communicate urgent messages through SMS or WhatsApp. I've covered SMS also in this. Teachers can have their own class. See, SMS doesn't mean the general ones which you send about, school reopening from the 16th. That please leave that to Sunil Bhai, otherwise we'll have lot of people writing lot of things and there'll be utter confusion. So just the ones which are limited to your class. Communicate urgent messages through SMS. Teachers can have their own class parents WhatsApp group through which they can communicate group messages. We have something known as broadcast lists, which Manan sir was again telling me about, where you get to communicate to the parents and they cannot communicate with each other there. So you don't have any Santa Banta jokes, you don't have any Sita Gita jokes, or you don't have silly pictures. So it's only restricted to your communication to the parents about only the things which you want them to know. And yes, of course, it is two-way. That's why it needs to be used judiciously. We don't want parents to be talking to each other on WhatsApp, communicating with each other, or, asking you even the small, teeny-weeny things about school. That is not to be encouraged at all, in which case just ignore. Simply use this for your benefit and to get the message across, and that's it. Okay, as I was saying, finally we come to the teacher-parent conferences or the teacher-parent meets which you keep having on the 2nd and 4th of the month. I can see Jaksha, looking at me very ferociously because I'm taking up time. So I'll just quickly go through this. Set a convenient time for the PTM. By the way, Jaksha, I also told them that you're the most talkative person in school. You missed that. Set a convenient time for the parent-teacher meet. Maybe you give them a time instead just of keeping it open, especially for the ones you really need to talk to, the problem children. Make points about issues you would like to discuss, both general and specific, and also refer to that parent feedback survey form when you call them for the first meet. Greet the parents enthusiastically, although it is a Saturday and you would like to go home. Ask parents about their perception